part.
Mr. Chair.
Grant Robertson.
First go on this part, Mr. Chair, so we'll make sure we keep counting this time. I don't actually have as many things to raise in part 3 of the bill, but I do want to discuss the clauses relating to KiwiSaver, and in particular clauses 205 to 211, which relate to miners, that's younger people as opposed to those down coal mines, opting out of the KiwiSaver scheme. So the bill proposes a new provision that would allow miners who have been incorrectly enrolled into KiwiSaver to opt out before their 19th birthday. This would, as the officials told us, provide some protection to miners who may not know that they have been enrolled and want to exit the scheme. Members who opt out of KiwiSaver under this new provision would have their contributions they've made returned to them, their government contributions returned to the Crown, and their compulsory employer contributions returned to their employers. Mr. Chair, members of the committee asked officials how widespread this problem was, because we did find it a little curious that we were coming to Parliament to debate perhaps this rush of young people being enrolled in KiwiSaver by over-eager parents and to get them in, and when they genuinely didn't want to be or felt that it had happened in an incorrect manner. Officials assured us this wasn't an enormously widespread problem, but that there was a need to provide a provision for KiwiSaver members to do that. And so new section 50CD will allow members who've been incorrectly enrolled in KiwiSaver when they're minors to opt out up until their 19th birthday, and they have to meet these criteria if they are aged under 16 and they have the consent of one of their guardians, or under their own authority between 17 and 19 years of age. Mr. Chair, I really do want to make a couple of points here. The first is that I don't think it is desirable to be promoting in any way the withdrawal from KiwiSaver of people who have been enrolled under the age of 18. The government's withdrawn the kickstart payment that was very attractive for a lot of people to be enrolled before they reached the age of 18. And I think that's a pity, and I think that's a shame, and I think that undermines some of the improvements to savings culture that have been developed as KiwiSaver has gone on. But we do accept that there may be situations where people feel the need to do this. So I think it is important to make that point. But I am still a little bewildered about the extent of this and why it's come to the House in this way. You know, minors are only able to join KiwiSaver by directly contracting with a KiwiSaver provider. Obviously, they won't necessarily have an employer. And the providers have the ability to receive and review parental consent, and that all should actually be happening. And this is to try and cover a situation where, for some reason, a provider has decided, well, we're going to just accept someone coming in as a minor and signing up for KiwiSaver. And so when the officials eventually said to us, and they say it in the commentary on the bill, to date, Inland Revenue has not received any complaints from minors who have been incorrectly enrolled into the KiwiSaver through their employers. That would be none through their employers. So I think the extent of this problem is very limited, but I guess it's a good thing to ensure that people under the age of 18 particularly are not exploited. And the reason the clause goes up to 19, which we did discuss, was to give time for KiwiSaver members, once they had reached 18 and were in a position to be advocating on their own behalf, to be able to get out of the scheme should they wish to. But as I say, it's not a clause that I think we'd like to see used very often, but it is conceivable that people will find their way through either a rogue KiwiSaver scheme, a rogue parent, or a rogue employer, although there aren't any, who has done that. And it seemed an odd clause, Mr. Chair, but I thought it was worth noting that that is now possible under this section of the bill. When the bill came before the committee, this particular bit, we did consider the wording of the bill appeared to treat an automatic enrolment as mistaken only if there was a failure to meet all of those criteria that I mentioned before, rather than one of them. And so the committee altered the bill under clause 207 to ensure that any of those criteria were failed, then the person who had been incorrectly enrolled had the ability to withdraw from the scheme. So unless the Minister wants to clarify the extent of the thousands of young people writing to him with deep concern about their automatic enrolment in KiwiSaver, we're happy to support the clause.
David Clark.